sometimes the hardest thing that you'll ever do just to start. um, my son the other day was really, really struggling. Every time we talk about homework, Maddox gets a little overwhelmed. He'll get mad at us, and he's got such an amazing spirit, but his spirit just drops when we ask him about homework. And I thought maybe, he's just doesn't like homework. Maybe he doesn't like school. But what I realized the other day is that he's just overwhelmed. He's gone so long in just kind of putting off the homework that after a bit of time, it piled up, and it was this huge, huge mess of, like assignments and all these things. And the other night we sat down and we just started to knock them out one by one, little bit by little bit by little bit. And this is a thing that my friend Sean Finnegan taught me, is that it's generally the start that stops us. And once we start going, we take that one little tiny inch stone, if you will, and we celebrate it. It piles up and becomes the milestones that we can celebrate, or that we were targeting in the first place. And so we sat down and we did a couple of assignments, and then he went to school, and I said, how was English? Because English was where he was struggling. And he said, it was actually great. And I said, why? He said, because I walked in with a little bit more confidence. I had known that I had done the work. And so it's incredible, because I just came off a podcast just now, probably about 15 minutes ago. Mike Ganino, if you haven't got a chance to be able to watch that, watch that. That guy is unreal. We sat, honestly, for 3 hours. We went for 3 hours. They tell me that you're only supposed to do it for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 45 minutes. No, Mike Ganino was that powerful. We sat and had a conversation about preparation, about storytelling, about the crafting of a message. The guy is an absolute genius. If you haven't got a chance, if you haven't watched it already, then go and check him out, Mike Ganino. But what he was talking about is the preparation will take away the nerves. And generally, we're just nervous because we haven't prepared in the right way. And with my son, it was incredible, because that little tiny start, the one assignment, he's got many more, and we're going to get him knocked out. But as I was driving home, I used a little bit of AI, and I just said in my chat GPT that my son is having a challenge with this mountain of homework. And he started just one little thing. He started one little assignment, and it just started to get moving. And it was always the start that stopped us, and just to focus on the Inchstones as opposed to the milestones. And it's amazing how Proverbs 2 was speaking right to it. So why don't we get this party started?
Nothing more on my mind. I got to shine, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
Oh, there you are. It's always the start that stops us, right? And so it was this little Inchstones. Actually, I got the workbook that's coming out. It's right here. This is the author's copy. It's not for resale yet, but in the next week, we're working on it. We ran into some copyright issues. I found out that the Bible or Proverbs is not public domain, except for the King James Version, the ASV version, and the WEB version, which we're actually transferring to. We did the NIV version in ours, and so we ran into, I didn't realize that it was copywritten. But what it is, the Inchstones is a workbook that will take you through 3 months of the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. And I believe if you own a company, your company will be better if you read the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. If you're a husband, your family life will be better. Your marriage will be better. If you're a wife, then your marriage will be better. Your family life will be better. If your kids read the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day, I believe that things would move, not to say it would be easy, but I truly believe this. And, it's been a study that I've had for the last over 30 years. And we're working on Proverbs 2 today, and just that connection point between my son being so overwhelmed with all this homework that built up, and you guys have been in that situation before where you didn't do something, you procrastinated, it piled up, and then you looked at it and said, it's too big of a hill to be able to, overcome. So I'll just not do anything about it. I'll turn my eyes. I've done this in the past. I do this. But my friend Sean Finnegan said that it's the start that stops us. If we'll just start and we'll just take one little tiny step, just one little tiny step, knock something out today. And that's what happened with my son. And I saw it was such an incredible transformation. And it wasn't like, oh my gosh, everything is done. He's still got work to do. But he was actually excited for the first time. He wrote a 5-paragraph essay that we did the other night. He did like 4 bits of homework. We did 2 of them last night. Now, some of you are like, well, he should be doing his homework all the time. That sounds judgy to me. But now he's starting to gain a little confidence. And once you start to gain confidence, then you gain a little bit of competence, or you'll gain competence, then you'll gain confidence, and then you can cop an attitude. That's what my pops taught me. But let's go into Proverbs 2. The lessons from this was amazing is seek wisdom like a treasure. And that's it, Proverbs 2, verse 4. So wisdom isn't a one-time revelation. It isn't discovered. It is discovered through persistence. And what I found is the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. It's not something that you read one time for 1 month and then you're done. But every time you read it, every single month, and when you read the text, at first you'll read it and then it'll start to read you, and the stories will start to come alive. Maddox felt stuck, but each small effort, each Inchstone brought him closer to clarity. And I watched this happen. Like every time he would write do an assignment or write one more sentence or even one more word, I saw him start to get a little bit more comfortable as he worked through it. In Proverbs 2, verse 11, understanding will guard you. And when you break things down, we stop feeling paralyzed and start feeling empowered. Every completed assignment became an inchstone that built his confidence. I tell you, with any little thing, all you need to do is start to add a little bit of competence to yourself, which will cause confidence to happen, which will cause you to cop an attitude, not towards the people, but towards the situation. When you walk into things, and that's what Mike Ganino was talking about earlier, he was talking about the fact that nerves, I asked him about nervous energy, and he said nervous energy only happens because you're not truly prepared. When you're truly prepared, yeah, you might have excitement or any of those things, but because you've worked it so many times, we hear about Kobe or we hear about Michael Jordan or we hear, about LeBron, we hear about Steph Curry, the amount of shots that they take in a day and how often that they're shooting them. By the time they get to the game, that's the simple part because they've done all the hard work in practice. And this is what Proverbs 2 was talking to us about. And so in Proverbs 2, verse 6, the Lord gives wisdom, right? Sometimes wisdom comes in unexpected forms, like a little guidance, patience, or even AI. And I have to tell you, I hope his teacher isn't watching, but I had to get him going, to move him forward a little bit. We used a little bit of AI to help to trigger him to start writing. And sometimes people are thinking like, oh, well, AI is not good for kids. It's good for kids or whatever it is. I think whatever will get my kid sparked, whatever I need to do to be able to get him to spark a little bit outside. And when I say that, not anything, some people are going to take that to the extreme, but a little bit of AI that I added into it, it sparked him and he started going. And what started to happen is he started to gain a little competence. He started to gain the confidence, and then he started copping an attitude, Dad, I could do another one of these. Let's do another one tomorrow. One spark of inspiration can turn hesitation into action. And I tell you, the difference between the person who gets what they want and the person that doesn't is the person who gets what they want, they just add action to it. It's a little bit. It's not perfect. And it's if you just will start. If you'll just start today, that one little tiny thing. In Proverbs 2, verse 20, is stay on the path of the righteous. And what is righteousness? Righteousness is just doing the right thing. How will we know what the right thing is when we stay in communication with God and he tells us what that right thing is at that particular moment. When we start to think that, oh, I have all the right answers and I just stick to those, that becomes our religion. So that becomes man's way of trying to get to God as opposed to us just saying, like, I want to have a relationship with you, right? And it was amazing because I can read Mike Ganino's book, the Make a Scene, but to spend time with him, I got to spend 3 hours with him. If you didn't get a chance, it's a masterclass, an absolute masterclass that is available, and it's on the last episode of the podcast. It's episode 639, Mike Ganino. Go and hear it. But it's incredible because spending time with him, it really made his book come to life. And so stay on the path of righteousness. The right path isn't always the easiest, but it is the one that leads to real success. And that word, that success, make sure you define it because my brother's really big on this. So Rob, if you're watching, I want you to know I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about things. I'm not talking about possessions, but success is doing exactly what God designed you to do, right? And each inch stone of effort added up until Maddox saw the finish line ahead. And his finish line is still far out. And he resisted me last night when we started to do it. We did the first inch stone, if you will, a couple of nights ago. And he resisted last night until we got into it. And then he was high-fiving me and saying, Dad, we could do this. And we were doing it together. And it's just little steps. And I want to encourage you, if you have a mountain in front of you, if you have a mountain in front of you right now of things that you've just let go for a little bit of time, it's always the start that stops us. Just one little step, one little inch stone. See, because inch stones become the milestones. We often focus on the milestones, and which are the big achievements, but they are just a collection of inch stones stacked up over time. Every single entrepreneur that I know, whether it be a Mike Ganino, who trained some of the top speakers in the world and is one of the top speakers, he didn't build his career like, boom, it happened. It was little bit by little bit, little inch stone, little inch stone, little inch stone. So whenever you're overwhelmed, the mountain of work that is in front of you that blocks your vision, think of that little inch stone, that little tiny thing that you can do today. And when you pile them up, it's amazing what can happen. And that's why I talk about Proverbs is just, read the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. It's a couple of verses. It'll probably take you 5 minutes. And when you get the book, The Vibe Within, Inchstones, The Vibe Within, it's a workbook that will unleash the wisdom of Proverbs. You can go through it and it'll take you 10, 15 minutes a day. But it's that investment in yourself. And see, the wisdom of Proverbs isn't just about knowing what to do. It's about applying it. Whether your schoolwork or life, the key is to keep moving forward, one inch stone at a time, because when you keep stacking them up, you'll look back and realize that you built something incredible. I didn't know 30 years ago when my pops would tell me you need to read a page of the word a day. I didn't know that it was going to, cultivate in creating a book called The Vibe. If you don't have that one, it's there. By doing the workbook, by creating the Vibe Room. I didn't know all those things, but it was just little inch stone by little inch stone by little inch stone by little inch stone. And that becomes the milestones. And I want to encourage you today, because when my son was so overwhelmed with all the homework, we couldn't do 5 assignments at once. We just did one, just one little one. And Maddox, I want to tell you, if you're watching, which you're probably not because you're in school right now, I want to tell you how proud I am of you. I want to tell you how proud I am that not the grade that you got, but just the effort that you put in. And you stood in when you were tired, and we stayed up till 10 o'clock the other night and we did 5 assignments. You wrote 5-paragraph essay, which is massive when you're in 7th grade. And you did things that you didn't want to do, but it was the right thing. And you started. And I want to encourage you because, son, Maddox, look at me. Look at me into the video right now, Maddox. You are an incredible human being that is built. You were built and designed to move mountains. But those mountains will not be moved all in one shot. It will be inch stone by inch stone by inch stone that will build up and become that entire mountain that's in front of you that you will move. And you will continue to do this throughout your life because you are a light in this world. I love you, son. Thank you so much for the inspiration. Proverbs 2, corresponding proverb, corresponding day. We are going to jump into some stuff here coming soon in the upcoming episodes of Ecclesiastes, because Ecclesiastes, there's 12 chapters. There's 12 months in a year, corresponding Ecclesiastes chapter for the corresponding month, coupled with the Proverbs for the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. I tell you, It's like a decoder ring, but that's later. I want to thank you for tuning in. If you want to read it, Substack, you want to watch it or listen to it, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. If you want to experience it, the Vibe Experience, April 12th, there's still a couple tickets left. Message your boy. If you want to engage with it, I could come and speak to your company like I did with BuyTac just recently, and we could talk about shifting the vibe. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over again.